having a great day. Today we're going to be making a video that was requested a lot more than I thought it was going to be. If you guys remember my last truck video, I asked you if you guys wanted to see why I didn't run my Edge Juice with Attitude on the truck currently, why I wasn't running that in the setup, and today I'm going to be answering that question. I showed you that clip in the beginning of this video for a reason. You guys will see that in a minute whenever I start explaining things. I also wanted to put out in the beginning of this video that this isn't going to be the most exciting video by far I've made, but there is going to be a lot of information put out in this video that I think a lot of the 24 valve guys are going to like, so I hope you enjoy the video. We'll get right to it. So I got the Edge about 8 months ago, and by the way, the Edge is right here wrapped up. I wrapped it whenever I shipped it from Hawaii to protect it, and it's been in the case ever since, and so is the stand that suction cups it up to the windshield. But I got it about 8 months ago, and since the beginning, and still true to this day, and I will explain everything here in a minute as you guys watch the video, but still to this day and the very minute that I got it, I love the Edge. I still love the Edge. I wish I could run it on this truck, and you guys will find out here in a minute why I don't run it and the specific reason I don't run it right now. But anyway, I got it about eight months ago, and I made the install video on the channel just like everything else I run on the truck. I made the install video, and some guys were asking me why I didn't tap the VP. And to be quite honest, it was kind of an old pump, so I didn't really know if I wanted to tap the VP44. But I ended up tapping my stock VP, and I kid you not, as soon as I tapped it, and it was the right wire, it was the correct wire, I promise you that. I 100% guarantee it was the correct wire. As soon as I started up the truck the first time from tapping the VP with a new Edge, it immediately blew the stock VP right then and there, and it left the truck stranded for I think a month until I got the industrial injection VP, which is tucked underneath there. It's the Hot Rod VP44. So, and that's going to tie in to the overall reason why I do not run the Edge right now. It's down right there. You guys can barely see it, but that's the industrial injection Hot Rod VP44. And that's going to tie in on why I don't necessarily run the Edge. I still have it all wired up, as you guys seen in my last video. I still have the Edge just like it should be, except the module is not in the windshield, and I'm not tuning it to the OBD2 port, and I don't have the power running to it or like the map sensor and things like that. I unplugged that kind of stuff down there. But anyway, as you guys know, the Hot Rod VP44 is all electronics. It's all tuning the fuel electronically, and that's what the tuner does, right? That's what the Edge job is to do. Alright, so I came inside to make the rest of this video because it was getting way too hot out there, but pretty much what I was getting at is the VP44, it being a Hot Rod VP44, comes with 80 to 100 horsepower promised from industrial injection. And the way they do that is turning up the pump via electronics. So when you stack that Edge Juice with Attitude on top of the Hot Rod VP44 from industrial injection, you get some tuning. Now I'm not an expert when it comes to this stuff, but they don't match up right. And I'm going to show you guys a video right here back when I was in Hawaii. You longtime subscribers are going to remember my old house seeing this video, but I'm going to show you a clip real quick that I don't think I ever showed you guys before. And I sent it out to a couple buddies of mine that are familiar with the tuning on these 24 valves to get their advice. So I'm going to show you that video now, and then we're going to talk right after. So as you guys just saw, the truck sounded and ran like absolute crap when it was in park and it was just idling there. It just was all over the place. With the Edge stacked on top of that Hot Rod VP44, the truck just didn't like it. And I called, like I just said a minute ago, I called multiple buddies. I sent that video to multiple buddies, took extra videos, sent them to buddies, and nobody could figure out, nobody could really give me the clear answer to why the truck was fueling so bad. Now still to this day with the Hot Rod VP44, as you guys saw in the beginning of the video, and I'm going to get to that in a second, but I'm pushing a ton of fuel. That Hot Rod from industrial pushes a ton of fuel. If I could go back to when the VP initially went out, I would either have went with a standard output VP or I would have went with a P pump, as a lot of you guys wanted me to do when I was there, but I didn't have the money for a P pump swap, and I was in Hawaii. I had no access to any of them, and if I was going to ship one, it was going to be way more expensive, and nobody in Hawaii was subject matter expert. I'm sure there's subject matter experts in Hawaii, but I definitely didn't know any at the time. So I heard some good things about the Hot Rod VP44, and I just went after it, and you know, I'm talking kind of bad about it right now, but I'm not upset I went with the Hot Rod VP44. It just would be nice to run the Edge on a standard output pump. I know the Hot Rod, you know, the horsepower numbers, your ceiling is higher. With a standard output pump, you can only make so much horsepower. And my end goal for that thing is to be right at about 750 horsepower. and hopefully a compound setup coming eventually for the 24 valve out there, the silver one, not this black one. I don't even know if it's in frame. This one's my brother's. But pretty much the main reason I don't run the Edge is exactly what I just sat there and told you guys. It ran like absolute crap. Now still to this day, the truck in park sometimes has a bad idle to it, but it'll steady out and it'll sound like a normal truck. But like back in the day when I ran that Edge for those few months or so, when it was in park and like I pulled up to work, it was just, I mean, people look at the damn truck like it's about to break down or something. It was all over the place. It was idling like absolute crap. I say I had it on there for a few months, but it wasn't running like that the entire time. It was only after I got the 175 horsepower injectors, the Edge Juice with Attitude, and the Hot Rod VP44. I was pushing so much fuel, and I'm still pushing a ton of fuel, as you guys seen. And now we're getting to that part I keep hinting to. In the beginning of that video, I could probably ask you guys, and you'd probably be like, man, you were probably full throttle on that thing. I guarantee you were full throttle on that truck. I can tell you what, I was not full throttle at all on that thing. I was like 20% throttle, and it just smokes that much. I'm pushing so much fuel, and I'm running the S362, which is not that big of a turbo, right? That's not much air to fuel ratio. Now, my air is like way down here. My fuel is way up here. So if I could go back and do it all over again, I would have probably went with that S369, kind of like my brother has on his truck, and kind of settled the air to fuel ratio, because right now, I spool the S362 like nobody's business. It's like daily driving it as soon as I give it any fuel whatsoever. I mean, the truck, by the way, I mean, I got a ton of information to put out to you guys. And, you know, that's why I said this video wasn't going to be the most important, because I really needed to just take the time and explain a lot of things about this truck that you guys, that I haven't actually sat down and just made this video. So we can talk, like I have so much in my head that I want to talk to you guys about right now. Like fuel lines, talk about fuel lines, 0.93 fuel lines, upgrading those, upgrading connecting tubes, all these different routes that I can possibly take to make that fuel settle out. Now like I said, there's so much information and so many mixed opinions out there. I know for a fact right now the comment section is going to be up in arms about this, and if you have any advice for me, I'm going to read every single comment regardless of the situation, regardless of the content I'm putting out. So go ahead and comment down below if you do have a suggestion for me. But I'm going to tell you guys right now, I looked into it so much, from going into bigger fuel lines, and a lot of you guys are hearing me saying bigger fuel lines and going that route, and a lot of you guys are probably saying, no, that would actually make it worse, and that is true. It would actually make it worse, having bigger fuel line. I checked into that route as well, and these are like very experienced people, huge, very knowledgeable people I've talked to about these trucks. They know a lot about what they're talking with. So that's why I'm currently just not running the Edge. The truck runs a lot better. I'm already pushing a ton of fuel. The truck, I'm not going to sit here and say the truck is a drag truck, but it is well more than I need to just daily drive. The truck will get up and go. My brother will tell you, my brother's been the only other guy that has driven my truck other than myself, and I'm not even going to talk about the guy in Hawaii at the docks. Some of you know who I'm talking about, but not all of you. But anyway, we're not even going to talk about that. But me and my brother, pretty much the only ones that have driven that truck, and he will tell you just like I will, the truck will get up and go. It's not by far, not going to say it's a fast truck. It's really not. There's a fast street truck. I think I'm kind of almost there. I'm almost to a fast street truck, but the truck is definitely not even close to being ready for the drag strip. Not even close. Not even what I'm saying. Just saying the truck has plenty enough power right now without the Edge on it to be suitable for what I need it for right now. And that's another reason why I'm not running the Edge currently. Now, with all this being said, I know some of you guys are probably going to be like, man, sell me the Edge, sell me the Edge. I'm not selling it, and the reason why I'm not going to sell it is because I told you, like I said a minute ago, I am planning on doing like a compound turbo setup and throwing the Edge back on it. I don't care how the truck runs at that point. Eventually, I want to get a 4th gen Cummins and have that to daily drive, and that 24 valve out there is just going to be strictly a drag racing truck. Eventually, down the road, a P-pumped compound turbo 24 valve is what I want. That is the end goal. So I will be keeping the Edge up to that point. I know a lot of you guys are saying I should go different. I mean, there's so much, like I said, there's so much information. We could sit here and talk. I could literally, I should probably be live streaming this, actually. I've honestly thought about that. I've honestly thought about just sitting down on my computer and just live streaming to you guys, because there's so much information. Because, like, with that being said, obviously other tuning options would be available if I'm trying to push 1100 horsepower on the Edge. Now, I just know that there's so much information to put out, and I know I keep saying that, and I don't want to sound redundant, but I know there's going to be a lot of comments as far as, like, fueling options, different routes I could take. Now, with all of this said, if you guys have ran a Hot Rod VP44 from Industrial, I don't care. I don't care about your Monster mic pumps. No other pump. I don't care about any other industrial injection pump with the Edge Juice with Attitude. If you have ran that successfully with no lope or sketchy idle or all over the place idle, let me know currently how you have that set up, and if you suggest anything that I do so that I can throw the Edge back on right now and not have a horrible idle. So that was kind of one reason all in whole. That was kind of just crappy idling. That's really all it entails. The fueling, I couldn't figure out the fueling, so pretty much just left the Edge on the side. All of that we just talked about pretty much entails that one issue. Now the second issue really isn't that big of a deal. And I don't want to act like this is a huge deal because it's really not, and it's really not preventing me from throwing the Edge on, but it is something I wanted to bring up. The Hot Rod VP44 from Industrial does have a 1-year warranty or a 2-year warranty, something like that. And I talked to the warranty guys. I was like, hey, if I tap this VP or with a stealth plate, trust me, I know a lot of you guys are going to argue that in the comment section down below, but I asked him specifically, with a stealth cover from BD or just tapping the VP, would that void that warranty? He said yes, 100%. It will void the warranty. A lot of guys get in trouble because they think the stealth plate is going to not void their warranty. I can't talk about any other company. I just want to put that out there. I do not want to talk about any other company. But for industrial injection, that will void your warranty if you do end up tapping the VP, whether it be stealth cover or not. So that's kind of just another reason why I haven't really tapped the VP on this one. I don't want to tap it and then have, I'm not saying it's going to blow. It ain't going to blow that pump. I don't think it's going to blow that pump one bit. The thing I'm worried about is that pump having something wrong with it mechanically or something with the electronics and the VP go bad for another reason. And then I'd be screwed because, well, I tapped the VP and voided my warranty. So that's kind of a, like I said, that's not completely stopping me from doing this. The main reason is just a choppy idle and it's all over the place and the truck runs like crap. And I'm already pushing enough fuel as it is. There's no need for the Edge right now as it sits. But I do want to run the Edge. I do want to run it because I get my boost off the Edge. I get all of my readings. I get the readings I don't have on my pillar gauges from my Edge. And plus, it's just cool to be able to tune the truck. I mean, it's a lot faster. Another thing we need to get into. I know a lot of people are going to ask this, and I know that this is going to be the ending part of the video, and I promised you guys in the beginning this wasn't going to be the most exciting, and you guys are figuring out that pretty quickly. But we're going to talk about transmission for a second because that has been brought up so much in the comment section down below. On Instagram, that's another thing. I never shout out my dang Instagram. Everybody's always talking about that. But anyway, on Instagram, you guys, it's the same thing as my YouTube. And a lot of guys have been DMing me or commenting down below on one of my pictures, let's say the truck or the ATV, and they're like, hey man, where's the transmission build? Why haven't you got the transmission build? You talked a lot about that in Hawaii. You came to Alabama and then you never built the transmission. That is probably the easiest answer today. And that is because the truck is running great. The truck shifts great. The truck has a ton of power, a ton more power than I probably need on the road. And if it ain't broke, don't fix it, right? I'm not going to sit here and, because the transmission I want, I've already talked to Suncoast, about $6,500 to $7,000. It's about $6,500 to $7,000 for a fully built 47RE, which is what I want to go with from Suncoast. So why would I go out there and spend $6,500 to $7,000 on a fully built Suncoast Trans when this one's not giving me any problems? It's literally running and shifting great. So that's kind of the reason why I haven't gone with the transmission build. I'm spending more money. I'm spending my money towards ATVs, things like that. It's been a lot of fun here recently, rather than going and building the transmission. Because even if I got the transmission built this summer, which was the original plan, the truck still has a lot of motor work that needs to be done. Push rods, valve springs, it's got to get the compound turbo setup that I want to go with. Definitely isn't going to be done by that. I just don't have the money for it right now. So a lot of intercooler. I mean, there's a lot of things. Like if I built the transmission right now, it just really wouldn't make that much financial sense. I would literally be throwing something at the truck that it just does not need right now. It doesn't need it. The truck runs great. So that's why I haven't built the transmission yet. Now, as soon as it gives me a reason to, as soon as the transmission craps out on it, then hey, I'm going to be throwing my money right at that transmission. I can guarantee you that. But until then, we're just going to let the truck ride. Like I said in the beginning of the video, this is pretty much going to be the end of the video right now. Like I said in the beginning or towards the middle, if you guys do run that industrial injection VP44 with the Edge Juice with Attitude, let me know by commenting down below if you have success with not a lopey or all over the place, idle, let me know by commenting down below. And by the way, another thing we need to talk about, I know this, like, oh my god, I'm not even gonna say there's a lot of information again. The noise cancellation thing from BD Diesel, they sell that noise cancellation sleeve that stops the interference from getting in from the alternator wire that runs to the not runs to the battery, but runs kind of near the battery. You guys know what I'm talking about. That wire, I've already done that little cancellation thing, wrapped the tinfoil, wrapped it in electrical tape. That's not getting interfered. That wire is good to go. So that's not the reason why this is happening. So I hope you guys made it to the end of this video and I answered that question. I'm sure there's a ton I'm leaving out, but this video is getting long enough as it is. I know I've talked your ears off, but one more time before I end out this video in layman's terms, just so we're clear. I love the Edge with Attitude. I love the Edge Juice with Attitude. It is a great monitor. I could not recommend it more if you're running a standard output pump. It does exactly what it is intended to do. It pushes a ton of fuel and will make your truck faster. Now with the VP44 from Industrial being the hot rod and it together does not mesh well. I'm pushing a ton of fuel as it is, so I do not necessarily need the Edge Juice with Attitude stacked on top of that hot rod. It's not necessarily needed for right now. So that is the reason why, and not voiding the warranty, but that's just a little reason. So I hope you enjoyed the video. I know it was kind of not that exciting. I promise you the next video is going to be way more exciting than this. Promise you that. But I had to put this one out there to answer a lot of questions that have been asked over the last couple weeks or so. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, please leave a like down below. It really helps a ton, and I'll see you in the next one. 'Cause you know that I'ma throw that. I spread the wealth.